When you send your personal financial statement to your banker or to your CPA, what does it say on that personal financial statement? What's your net worth? Because sure, you can own 300 units, but if you own 2% of them, that's what goes in your net worth.
What does your capital stack look like? What are some ways that you like to get money for these projects? Or do you just stick with the same partners, same banks, local banks?
It depends on the size of the deal. If it's a smaller deal, I typically try to buy the land with cash, and then we use local community banks to fund as much of the construction as the numbers will allow. Mm-hmm. Certain deals I'll partner with, especially if somebody, I've done a few deals where somebody brings me the deal and we end up being 50-50 partners.
Awesome.
But the capital stack is typically cash plus bank debt.
Yeah.
I don't raise outside equity.
That's what I thought. I didn't think that you went and found capital partners or LPs or anything like that.
I've done one deal where we've done that so far. Mm-hmm. I've tried to avoid it as much as possible because I don't want to own 10% of a deal and be responsible to a bunch of other people.
Right.
So I'd rather do smaller deals. I have operating businesses that produce cash, mm-hmm. and I deploy that cash into long-term assets.
Right.
And if I want to do bigger projects on the development side, I try to crank up my operating businesses to produce more money.
Smart.
To where I can do bigger projects on the development side. Now, at some point, the size of projects that I have my eye on over the next 5 years, I'm probably going to have to raise more outside capital. For a long time, I've successfully put that off. And I've built a pretty decent-sized portfolio that I actually have a legitimate stake in, instead of bragging to everybody how much real estate I own and then really owning 5% of it.
Yep. I've seen that a handful of times where people are doing $100 million deals, but they're kind of break even on the projects because of the amount of equity they have or incentive they have in it.
A lot of these deals that are syndicated, mm-hmm. especially by people that don't know what they're doing. And I'm friends with some very successful developers that are very good and they know what they're doing, they're making money. But man, I've seen a lot of these syndications where a guy is bragging about doing, a 300 unit deal, but by the time he gets done paying his limited partners, there's nothing left for him.
Yep.
So what are you working for? Mm-hmm. Is it just social media bragging rights that you own a big portfolio?
Right.
At the end of the day, I think, what does your balance sheet say?
Right.
When you send your personal financial statement to your banker or to your CPA, what does it say on that personal financial statement? What's your net worth? Because sure, you can own 300 units, but if you own 2% of them, that's what goes in your net worth.
Yeah. Go grab a single family house. We had a guest on here in a previous episode. His name was Lyle, and he got out of college, went to be a sponsor on these large deals, and he was putting together stuff with PE money and stuff, mm-hmm. and he was doing $20-30 million deals. He was the GP, there were LPs involved, and there was tons of money, and so by all means he was crushing it. But on the podcast, he's telling, he's talking to me about how they had to unwind that business because they were losing money. Their investors did well, but after the investors were paid out, there was no money, or they were losing money on the GP side. And so from the outside looking in, you're like, man, this guy is just out of college and he's crushing it. Unfortunately, that wasn't his mindset, right? Which is why he was a guest. I have a lot of respect for him. But he was the one who went to his team, was like, let's unwind it. Yes, we're very successful by way of doing deals and our partners are happy, but we need to unwind this and do this differently. So he unwound it and then went and did his own thing with smaller deals, smaller money. Mm-hmm. And then he's found that to be, I think he's back up to a few hundred units, but it's a much smaller operation. And that's what he's happy with, to where he can now put his capital into these deals and not just, so he's benefiting from it as well with a much higher equity.
You have more control, more ownership, less headaches. Mm-hmm.